the dead aren't truly gone, but trapped in an endless loop of agony, screaming silently for release from the places that claimed their lives? What if every creak in the night, every shadow that dances just out of sight, is a desperate plea from souls bound by unspeakable horrors? Tonight, we plunge into the abyss of 10 true ghost stories, ripped from the lives of those who dared to confront the veil between worlds. Stories that expose the raw, unrelenting terror of the paranormal, forcing you to question if ignorance is the only shield against the darkness that hungers for the living. Our descent begins in the blood-soaked shadows of Villisca, Iowa, where a single night in 1912 shattered the illusion of safety forever. The Villisca Axe Murder House stands as a grim monument to one of America's most brutal unsolved crimes. A family of 6, plus 2 young visitors, hacked to death in their beds by an unknown killer who lurked in the attic, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. This wasn't just murder. It was a desecration that poisoned the very air, turning a simple home into a vortex of despair. Culturally, Villisca represents the fragility of rural American life, a reminder that even in quiet towns, evil can erupt without warning, leaving echoes that transcend time. Skeptics dismiss the hauntings as overactive imaginations, but the personal accounts defy easy rejection, raw, unfiltered testimonies from those who felt the weight of tragedy firsthand. One such account comes from a visitor who stepped into this cooker of despair, her words painting a picture of unrelenting sorrow.
When we walked in, I immediately felt sad.
She recalls, the heaviness settling like a shroud from the moment the door creaked open. The tour didn't start in the house itself, but wove through the town museum and the cemetery, where the victims' graves stand as silent sentinels, building a foundation of grief before confronting the epicenter. The guide's voice echoed tales of the killer's patience, hiding in the attic's long darkness, axe in hand, as the family slumbered below. But it was during this narration that the first supernatural crack appeared. A shadow in the kitchen, shaped like a woman, staring at them with unseen eyes. Was it one of the murdered, forever vigilant in her eternal watch? Left alone to explore, the activity surged like a storm. Footsteps thudded from upstairs, defying the empty rooms, and then came the moan. A woman's voice, laced with pain, so clear it pierced the soul.
It was a lady moaning,
She describes, the sound driving her sister to bolt from the house in terror, unable to bear the intense energy. Yet, amid the horror, innocence lingered in the children's room, where whispers of a little girl and boy floated from the void. When asked his name, a boy's voice replied softly,
Paul!
Knowing the spectral children favored toys, they rolled a pink ball across the floor. It vanished under a bed, unreturned. Suspecting the color displeased him, they searched for another, only for a blue and pink ball to roll out from beneath the bed, as if Paul himself had chosen it. They played on, rolling it back and forth. The ball moving with purpose, defying physics. Even jumping to test the floor couldn't replicate the intelligent motion. It was Paul, trapped in his playful limbo, reaching out from the tragedy that stole his life. This house embodies both the purity of lost childhood and the stain of unimaginable evil, a hot spot where good and malevolent forces clash in eternal strife. drafts or tricks of the mind, but the ball's deliberate rolls, the named whispers. These are anecdotes too precise to ignore. The tension builds to a heart-wrenching peak. In that room, with Paul's invisible hand guiding the toy, the visitor realized the dead weren't just haunting. They were begging to be remembered, their games a cry against the void. If such innocence can persist in a place of slaughter, what darker entities might lurk unseen? Shifting from the intimate horrors of Villisca, we plunge into the chaotic energies of Warmsworth Hall in Doncaster, England. A sprawling 3-story manor that once echoed with the footsteps of the elite, now a playground for the restless dead. Its history is laced with untimely deaths and forgotten scandals, making it a cultural touchstone for Britain's fascination with aristocratic decay, where grandeur masks underlying rot. Paranormal hotspots abound, from the attic's shadowy corners to the kitchen's slamming doors, drawing investigators who challenge the veil. Skeptics argue it's all hype, but the first-hand tales, brimming with physical proof, paint a picture of spirits that don't whisper, they roar. One investigator, on a fateful Friday the 13th, felt the hall's electric anticipation from the start. Even before the event began, while I was preparing the buffet alone, recalls Rosie, the door to the kitchen literally slammed shut with such ferocity that it shook the building. Others thought a nearby door had been kicked, but this was no accident. The heavy wood resisted replication, slamming as if by an enraged poltergeist claiming its territory. As night deepened, the spirits awakened fully. In a seance, a child spirit named Holly emerged, her presence so vivid it reduced newcomer Jane to tears, her first ghost hunt etching an emotional scar.
It affected me deeply,
Jane admits, the contact stirring a well of unspoken grief. Torches flickered on and off at requests, manipulated by unseen hands, while table tipping reached extremes, furniture heaving as if alive. Cold breezes swept faces, carrying the chill of the grave. But the climax erupted in the attic. Chris, turning casually, screamed as a ghostly face loomed behind him, so close he leapt forward in primal fear.
I saw the face of a ghostly figure stood right behind.
He gasps, his reaction convincing all that something otherworldly had reached the barrier. Warmsworth Hall's spirits demand attention. Their physical fury, a stark contrast to subtle haunts, building to a terrifying crescendo where the living are mere pawns in a game of spectral dominance. In this hall of long darkness, the dead don't fade. They fight back. From poltergeist rage, we descend into the layered nightmares of Chesleigh House, a building that has worn many masks: magnate's mansion, Victorian boys' school, maternity hospital, rife with death, dance academy, and now a learning center. Each era added souls to its spectral tapestry, from children lost to illness to mothers perishing in childbirth, creating a cultural emblem of Britain's evolving social history, where progress often buries tragedy. Hot spots like the gymnasium and former wards pulse with activity, challenging skeptics who blame creaky floors or group hysteria. Yet the personal stories, with their consistent details, suggest intelligent forces at play. The unease began before the hunt. I heard chains clanging in the empty gymnasium upstairs. One hunter recalls, the sound evoking ancient torments. Vigils brought direct contact. Rosie, Mel, and Steve each connected with the same spirit lady via glass divination. Her messages so intense that Joe burst into tears, fleeing the room, Another Joe felt sudden nausea, stomach pains forcing her to vomit, perhaps channeling a pregnant mother's agony. "I felt nauseous with stomach pains," she says, the symptoms vanishing upon leaving, hinting at empathetic possession. Spirits like Stanley, a former worker, responded through the glass, while another entity engaged only with Dan, showing selective intelligence. Kirsty's chair shook violently, her scream echoing as unseen hands rattled her. Tables tipped ferociously, especially in the maternity ward, with K2 meters spiking on command. The buildup culminated in a frenzy of taps and movements, the air thick with intense energy, proving Chesleigh's ghosts aren't relics. They're active, emotional beings. Their climax a barrage of manifestations that left participants forever changed, questioning the thin line between life and the endless void. Venturing deeper, Bolling Hall in England unveils its ancient curses, a manor steeped in centuries of betrayal and death, from Civil War executions to plague victims, embodying Britain's haunted heritage where history's wounds never heal. The paneled bedroom, dubbed England's most haunted, is a prime hotspot, alongside cellars echoing with moans. Skeptics point to old architecture, but the repeated, verifiable events, doors opening, apparitions appearing, build a case too compelling to dismiss. In that cursed bedroom, a group called out, only for the heavy door to swing open violently. It swung open at great speed, Simon reports, finding the corridor empty. It happened thrice, each time with baffling force, leaving Rosie and Melanie stunned.
I've never seen such power from the spirit world.
Susan fled in terror, her nerves shattered. Table tapping mirrored their knocks precisely, while coughs and moans filled the air. Mel felt ghostly hands on her arm in the cellar, K2's spiking long and hard. The Frank's box spat specific answers, and in the blue bedroom, Christina saw the mattress dip as if sat upon, glimpsing a man's apparition. Phones turned on mysteriously, defying logic. The tension peaked in a symphony of phenomena, from blue lights dancing to shadows shifting, climaxing in the realization that Bolling's spirits wield godlike control. Their power, a dark mirror to human frailty. Now, we cross oceans to Savannah, Georgia, a city built on slave graves and Civil War blood. Its haunted reputation a cultural cornerstone of Southern Gothic lore, where beauty hides brutality. The Juliette Gordon Low House, birthplace of the Girl Scouts, carries a deceptive calm, its hot spots like upstairs rooms buzzing with orbs and anomalies. Skeptics blame tourism hype, but intimate encounters reveal truths too personal to fabricate. I felt the air was extremely heavy, one visitor shares, unease gripping her from entry. In the waiting room, despite no photo rules, cameras malfunctioned wildly. Hers snapped unauthorized shots, then shut off. Friends' batteries drained instantly. Upstairs, the portrait room suffocated, and a giant orb flew past her mother's head, a harbinger of deeper dread. This built to a subtle climax, the spirits enforcing boundaries, their disapproval a silent storm, leaving her questioning if the house's founder still guards her legacy from beyond. But Savannah's true terror awaits at 432 Abercorn Street, an abandoned shell tied to a father's cruel punishment, tying his daughter to a chair until dehydration claimed her, dooming both to eternal regret. This hot spot draws gawkers, its windows flickering with sad apparitions, challenging skeptics with consistent sightings. Peering through the mail slot,
I felt a rush of hate, pity, sorrow, and sadness.
She recounts, shaking violently. Later, staring at the window, disbelief shattered. All of a sudden, the girl was there. Long hair, old-fashioned dress, white circle eyes. Really sad and lonely. Her sister saw the same, mother a white outline. The climax hit like a wave, dazing her into a vow to return and free them. In this house of perpetual mourning, the ghosts aren't vengeful. They're broken. Their sorrow a mirror to our own hidden pains. From personal vows, we enter the echoing halls of the Old Fire and Police Museum in Sheffield, England, a relic of emergency services scarred by fires, arrests, and untimely ends, symbolizing society's guardians turned spectral watchers. Hot spots like cells and stairs hum with voices, defying skeptics through tech like Frank's boxes, yielding precise responses. During a vigil, asking for 999 on the scanner, it obliged twice. Sit down next to me, played as someone sat, contextual and eerie. A full-bodied apparition walked stairs, vanishing. Skeptics converted via touches, hair tugs, table tips, K2 spikes.
I was speechless when the table tipped towards me,
Peter says. Shadows moved. Lights emanated, unexplained. The buildup crested in intelligent dialogues, like George and a Polish spirit communicating, proving the dead retain wit, their climax a triumphant assertion of existence. Shifting to the bizarre Tidö Slott in Sweden, a 1600s royal abode now a museum, hides temporal rifts amid its toy exhibits, a cultural nod to lost innocence. No traditional hotspots, but anomalies like vanishing doors challenge reality itself. As a child, I saw a big, brown, old-looking door with a black, round handle, partly open, she remembers with her father. Returning, it was gone, replaced by a white wall. Years later, a TV show revealed it as a sealed cellar where a prince vanished centuries ago. They had glimpsed a ghost door from 400 years past. The tension built to this revelation, climaxing in wonder, a slip in time, not haunting, but a fracture in the fabric of now, whispering that history isn't buried. It's waiting to pull us in, aboard the Queen Mary, a floating palace turned warship. Deaths from accidents and illnesses created a vortex, especially the first-class pool, a portal for wandering souls. Culturally, it embodies transatlantic glamour's dark underbelly. I felt this slow, deliberate tug on my hoodie hood, the sensitive recounts, alone in the pool room, hairs standing as dread flooded. The guide confirmed, spirits always choose someone. The build-up to this touch climaxed in selection, a reminder that the dead seek connection, their intense energy bridging, worlds uninvited. Finally, the Oregon Caves Chateau, perched at 4,000 feet, harbors Elizabeth's ghost in room 310. Her suicide, a tale of betrayal amid natural splendor, symbolizing isolation's toll. In room 301, I was woken by little nitnoid sounds like creaks, 4 times, cane falling inexplicably. In 204, someone opened and closed dresser drawers, walked in the bathroom. Subtle disturbances built to a climax of persistent unrest, no visuals but an undeniable presence, like a ghost's quiet vendetta against sleep, echoing endless despair. These 10 tales, from Paul's playful ball to Elizabeth's drawer rattles, unravel the paranormal's tangled web. Residual echoes, intelligent pleas, temporal glitches, all defying our grasp. They force a controversial truth. The dead envy the living, Their hauntings, a negative force pulling us into doubt, where safety is illusion and shadows hold secrets that could devour us whole. Dare to confront your own darkness. Spill your most harrowing ghost encounter in the comments. Did a spectral touch chill your spine, or a vanished door warp your reality? Your raw story might haunt our next video, proving we're all just one whisper from the abyss. If these shadows gripped you, fuel the fear by smashing that like button, subscribing for more dives into dread, sharing with fellow thrill seekers, and ringing the bell to summon every eerie update. Together, we'll unearth the horrors that refuse to stay buried. Until the next veil thins, stay vigilant. The dead are always listening.